Okay, and here we are with part two. Now, I had talked at the end of part one saying that the video had run a little long, and I had decided to split it up into two parts. And as you can see, I'm actually in the middle of doing another build based on the sub-assemblies you see sitting here. So, going to start off with a few JPEGs to follow up on assembly of the big blue bus here, and then get back into talking about final assembly, detailing, and final assessment of the kit. So, without further delay, let's get to it. All right. Okay, I had said next time I'd be back with a final build, but change of plans. Surprise. Just going to talk real quick in this piece. I know I always say that, but I really mean it this time. Just going to talk real quick about doing a little detail work. Now, I had suggested or hinted at last one, that I was going to do something with this rear cargo deck inside the bus because it was just a gray piece of plastic. There was no surface detail, anything like that, and it was really kind of bugging me because everything else is so nicely done in the kit. So what I did, and this was beyond simple, I just took some gray felt, cut it to shape, and using an old glue stick, stuck it in there. And there we go. Now we have what looks like a textured material, if you want to imagine that it's carpet, whatever, on the cargo deck. But I didn't stop there. I had figured, since this is meant, the Samba is clearly like a touring type vehicle with all these windows to look at the scenery as you're cruising around, I figured why not try to find something to dress it up inside a little bit as if it's been around a little and that it's going on a camping trip. So I found some of these little details to put in the cargo area to give that camping feel. I have a little basket, a little picnic basket, a little basket for 2 bottles of whatever you want to imagine it to be, and a picnic blanket. Where did I get them? Well, where do you find things like this? It may be a little bit unexpected or not exactly what you would plan because you're something like this. You're focused on models and hobby, but hey, dollhouse miniatures. Also another very detail-oriented hobby, and hobby it is when you see some of these things that people create with their dollhouses. It's pretty incredible. But anyway, it's a great source to go and find, especially when you're working in one of these kits that is a little bit of a larger scale, to find some of these things that work with the kit to add some little detail. Now, the ones I have here, I found the site, Earth and Tree Miniatures and Dollhouses, earthandtree.com, and they had a real nice selection, and I'll have the info listed in the supplies in the video description as usual, but they had a nice assortment of these little types of things, the baskets and whatnot, the bottles. So, this was just a little extra expense for the kit. I think it was maybe $12 for the slew of things, and they will all go in the back. And then I had an idea, and I thought, well, if this thing is driving around and touring around, they're going to need a map. So this is simple beyond simple. I just went on Google and I pulled up some images of German road maps, and there you go. So I just saved the image, scaled it down, printed it out, and then folded it as you would see a map folded, this fan fold style. Opened it back up, and I can just drape that over the seat, and it's like they're driving around and they just left the map there. So Klaus and Gertrude can find their way to their next camping stop. And to add to that, I thought, in the United States, obviously, when we drive around, people, when camping is a big thing, they like to get stickers for various states and attractions they see. And I remembered in my little head that from my trips to Germany that, all the German cities and provinces have their little seals. So I just searched again on Google, German city seals, and found a bunch of images, saved them, and I bought, this is just a strip of it, but you can buy printable decal paper, water slide decal paper. This is clear, and I scaled down the images to 1/4 inch height and printed them on there with my color inkjet printer, my photo quality inkjet printer. This will get 3 coats of clear acrylic spray, and then hopefully they will look great when I stick them on there. And the idea is to suggest that this has been around a bit. What also motivated me was this is a very long side of blue with not much going on. So I thought this came with the kit, the Auto Museum, Volkswagen Auto Museum. So I stuck that there, and then I figured these will go underneath it. So those will be their travel seals, and the German eagle will go right on the back here. So simple ideas, simple solutions, things that I really like, because oftentimes simple is best. But I'm going to go put this all together now. The assembly of the kit is obviously the roof has to go on, but the doors, everything is all done. It's all done, and it's just actually putting it together. I just waited till I could get this stuff because it's a whole lot easier working in the cargo area here without the roof rather than with the roof. So I will get to it, and then next stop will indeed be the final build. Ja, wunderbar. Okay. Okay, here we go. Final build reveal for the VW Samba Bus. Now, I had mentioned I was going to do a few things, dress it up a little bit, and I guess I got carried away again. And here we go. Ha! Just kidding. That's Lego. Just thought this would be funny to take out. This is obviously it's a Lego Creator Series VW camper bus. Years ago, my younger son took a crack at this. He got about halfway through, and he said, "Dad, just finish it off." So there it is. Anyway, okay. So take 2. We'll see the actual model. All right. So here we go. Try it again. Ta-da! There we go. That's plastic model. Okay. So here we go. It's all done, obviously. A few things I want to point out, and a few of those things may be apparent just watching it do its little roundabout here. Happy with the way the model came out, and some of the little extra things I did I will get into momentarily. But first thing I wanted to point out, if you remember in the beginning of this, I had talked about the issue with the doors and how they may fit, being that the hinges are all molded in already, which in one hand makes your life a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about fiddling with little hinge pieces. However, if there's any issue with alignment or the accuracy of the molding, warpage, nothing's going to line up. So when I did the final fitment of the kit, and again the roof went on no problem, everything fit together okay, that is consistent throughout in the build, but lining up the doors turned into a bit of a project. Now I worked them to the point where you see now, and I stopped for a reason. And the work that I did was, shaving, whittling the doors to try to get them to line up better. But the point is, being that this is supposed to be about a casual and practical approach to doing a model, the idea of having to seriously work the doors and the kit to make everything line up, not very casual and not very practical. So I did some work and then stopped, and this is the result you see here. So could they fit better? Yes. Could they line up perfectly? Sure. But you're getting into a level of commitment on working the kit that maybe is way more than casual or practical. So there we go. That explains that. And even with just a little bit of work, you can see it's not bad. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it does highlight some of the issues that you could run into when, and I've said this on numerous builds, there's always some compromises with the kit. And I talked about this in particular with the Subaru Brat build, which is to evaluate kits in respect to their merits, what the design intent was with the kit and how well that was executed. So this being a 1/16 scale kit, it is a larger kit. There's more functionality with the doors and whatnot, and later on we'll open it all up so you can see inside. But for what it is or wants to do, it is a very reasonably priced kit. So I believe I had picked this up for $60 something like that, off of Amazon. And that's, for what is in there and what it aimed to do, that I would guess is a little bit more on the budget side of things. So, well, there's a compromise. Now, one of the things which I had talked about earlier was with the doors, they are one-piece doors. There is no separate insert piece that will, sandwich an inner and outer door, which in the case of warpage on the pieces, it would have sort of corrected that, just like I had talked about with a multi-piece body. When you're assembling the pieces, if there's a little warp in the body panels, having the reference point of the floor will self-correct that and true things up. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a one-piece door, you don't really get that opportunity because your only reference point then are your hinges. On the case of side doors, 2 hinges, front doors, 2 hinges. So it's either going to work or it's going to need work. And clearly in this case, they needed work. The big issue was with the consistency of the doors in reference to the body panel. As you can see, there is a slight curvature to the body surface, and that creates some of the problems with the door. See, this one was molded with a little bit more of an out curve, and as we come around, you'll see on the other side, because it's now 3 doors, there are 3 different inaccuracies, let's say, in the final result of the molding of the doors. Passenger side door, front door, I did quite a bit of work on just to get the top corner to go in, but the bottom corner still sticks out. These doors, I did a lot to meet on the top, but you can see they don't quite close all the way. So there are a number of little issues there. Now, if you wanted it perfect, what would that entail? Well, you would have to change your approach in building the kit. At that point, you would be looking at building the kit, basically, getting the interior and everything done, and then putting the body panels on, mounting the doors, then masking off the entire inside of the kit so that you can true up the doors and then do all the exterior painting, then go and do the glass, the moldings, everything else. So you would really be, again, stepping out of what the instructions show you to do, or any, more importantly, readily apparent build process, to get involved in a completely alternate build process. Again, if you want perfection, that would be the way to go, and that is a whole different level of time commitment. Now, what I was really looking forward in this, and this is an important thing to consider when you're weighing, well, which way you want to go with something like that. I pretty well suspected the doors would not go on perfectly. Right from the beginning, in the back of my mind, I figured, well, that's not my real big concern. In terms of, displaying the model, I would be more interested in having everything open. And with everything open, well, then inaccuracies in the doors aren't really an issue anymore, because you're not going to see how they align or misalign in that case. And when I open it all up, you'll see that just changes a whole level of appreciation or evaluation of the kit as it goes. So, having said all of that, I would like to mention one other thing. Because of the scale, and because, aside from the doors, everything goes together so well. I mean, if you want to go in and start modifying and really getting creative, and I mean, there's tons of things you could do with this kit. And, again, because it's not a super expensive kit for what you're getting, there's not a whole lot of risk there in terms of, oh my God, if it doesn't work out, just do a little more modification. But, I built it. I liked the way it looked on the box. Often I do. And I wanted to get to that as close as possible. So here we are. And obviously, as we come around now, that's why I paused. You can see the inside with a little bit of picnic gear. And coming around to this side now, you'll see these are the decals I had printed out and put on. So it's done a little cruising. The map I folded up and put between the front seats, because I figured if, Klaus and Gertrude are going for a ride here with the map thrown over the front passenger seat, who's going to sit there? So, I figured I'd fold it up and tuck it between the seats. That seemed a little bit more of a realistic thing to have. And on the mirror, you can appreciate some of the underbody detail. So I'm going to wait till it comes around, and we'll flip it over and take a quick look at that. There we go. So, it's a VW bus, so nothing fancy under there, but it certainly looks nice. We have our positionable steering. That's all good. Some of the engine detail. Happy with the way all that came out. Again, if you wanted to, you could go in there and get into all sorts of weathering details, especially if you wanted to build a representation of something that was like an old garage find and had been fixed up, or, like I said, there are lots of possibilities with that. So I am going to take a break and come back and have everything open up. I'm just not going to do it on camera because all you're going to see are my hands, and you see enough of these. So in a momentary break, be right back. Okay, and back with everything opened up. So, and now you can see, can you notice a door misalignment? I don't think so. And that's pretty much what I was alluding to. And it sees really nice here, all set up with everything opened up. And really happy with the way this looks in terms of having a presentation. I didn't open the engine hatch right now because I've shown the engine hatch, talked about the engine hatch enough, and well, there it is. So as it goes around now, you can see a lot more of the indoor detail, and with the convertible roof piece folded back, get a nice view of the inside. So in terms of a shelf presentation, really fantastic. So really happy with the way that looks. And sitting there all opened up like this, it's a really neat piece. Got my little picnic gear in the back there. I can see a little bit more of that, and I'll have some JPEGs after this to get some more close-ups on these things. But there you go. Now, My impression of this while I was building it, because it's listed as a skill 5 kit, because it was going together so well, I thought, I think that's overrating it. And, as I wouldn't think it'd be a good idea as a first kit to work with, but I was thinking, as a second or a third kit, if you're just getting into the hobby, certainly doable. I would amend that opinion, or I amended that opinion, to say that you should have a couple of kits under your belt, maybe something with, a little higher parts count, a little more complicated build before jumping into this, because of the issue with the doors. If you're used to building kits with maybe just an opening hood, all of a sudden when you get to the end stages there and there are all these misalignments, that can be disappointing, frustrating, whatever your inclination is to respond to that. But certainly something to keep in mind before jumping into something like this. So, but as I've, always thought with these things, and, I've mentioned in some of the videos, it's all a matter of how much you want to work it. So, if you, like I've said in the beginning of this segment, if you want the doors perfect, it's certainly possible, but it will take a lot of work, and you will have to most likely reconsider how you're going to do the latter stages of the build, and keep all that in mind when you get into it. If you're not so concerned about the doors being perfect and you're more interested in displaying like this with things open for view, well then, hey, not a problem. You can just go through and build it, and there you go. So that's up to you, and how you want to build the model, of course, is up to you. And you can still have a lot of fun building one like this, and still end up with something that's a really nice, interesting piece. So I don't really have much else to say on this one, except, as usual, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I got to show, again, a few different things with this. So, and, address a few other concerns in doing a build. So, all good stuff. Hope you found it worthwhile. And again, thanks for watching. And until the next build video, I will see you then. Alrighty. Where should we go today? Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of going north to the Baltic Sea. Yeah. To Old Hamburg? Yeah, to Old Hamburg. Maybe a nice Schinkenwurst. Some old potato salad. Yeah. Just like Oma used to make. How about we get into the bus and we will drive up there, yeah? Oh, yeah. Sounds like a good idea. I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist. Rather than sitting here in silence watching the model spin around. All right, so this is the last rotation. So that'll be it. Again, thanks for watching, and have fun with your hobby.